Hello again. So I'm going to read another part of Steve Sanchez's book, Spiritual Perversion. Just real quick, I'm going to read part of the preface that he had written in 2001 for his book. That basically describes what the book's about and what it was for. Spiritual Perversion is an account of my 15-year experience in a psychic/religious cult in Berkeley, California. It is painfully honest and takes the reader deep inside the dynamics of a cult. For some, it may be challenging to read. It goes to some dark places, revealing how the cult took advantage of me and my fellow members who were seeking and vulnerable. It reveals how Reverend Bill, the leader of the cult, worked his mind control on us in all its convoluted and many-faceted forms. It reveals the depths of psychological abuse we suffered and learned to impose on each other. In spite of the dark subject, I don't believe the telling of the story ever loses its humanity. I managed to keep a spark of my soul alive throughout the experience, and this is reflected in the wide range of emotions and experience expressed. For me, writing this book was a prolonged act of self-compassion, a fulfillment of a need to understand and to heal. I hope that it also has some universal and creative merit. Then he goes on to say, ultimately, this is a book of redemption. It was of paramount importance to me to find spiritual resolution for myself and for the book. I was compelled every step of the way to find my way out of the darkness. So the story, the book, and I all grew together. So he goes on to talk about how experts say that any polite, intelligent person could be vulnerable to a cult at a critical time in their life. And I definitely want to go more into that, look at some of the research and talk about that later. But as far as this book is concerned, and as far as the cult, what we're talking about here is the Spiritual Rights Foundation and Ishi Hypnosis, or International Spiritual Hypnotherapy Institute, which is called Ishi, and the Academy for Psychic Studies. They're all under one roof. They're all controlled by the same people, followers of Reverend Bill D.B., who was a very, very evil man in every sense of the word. So Steve Sanchez was very brave. He wrote a book. Even people who also had left and were on his side were afraid of Steve putting too much detail in, of really explaining and describing what happened. The influence of the members, the influence of the cult, the mind control that we all experienced was such that you were so programmed to not say anything negative about the Spiritual Rights Foundation, and that retribution would follow in some form or another. Anyone who has spoken out against the Spiritual Rights Foundation in any public forum has received similar letters as this from William J. Rogers, their great lawyer. He's not a very good lawyer. But, hey, you know, he's cheap, and they like cheap because they like to keep their money. So yeah, anyone who's spoken out in a public forum, they get a letter that says, stop talking about us, and they give, you know, you write several reasons why, and oh, this, you know, you can't do this and you can't do that. you know, that's what they did to Steve Sanchez's book, and hey, he got it published, and I mean, why can't he write a book about his experiences? Yeah, okay, so that tactic didn't work with him, so why can't I write a personal blog? It's a personal blog. I stated that in the beginning. You know, it kind of grew into something more where I realized I wanted to go more into educating the public about these this cult that I was in, the Spiritual Rights Foundation and Ishi Hypnosis and the Academy for Psychic Studies. But these are my experiences. They're also my opinions. And I'm really tired of people telling me what I can and cannot say. It's ridiculous. It's controlling. It's cult-like in every sense of the word. And it won't stop me. I know my rights. And I have the right to talk about my life, how I felt in situations, how I experience things, how people have influenced me, how I've influenced other people. That's my right. That's every human's rights. Especially in America, we're guaranteed those rights. And many, many men and women fought for those rights. And I thank God they did. I thank God they did.